Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on a vital piece of any serious sound system.
Yep, the mid-range loudspeaker. Crucial stuff.
Exactly. And we're looking at two models from PRV Audio. You probably heard the name. We want to pull out the key info on their 6MR600X NDY.
And also grab some insights from a bundle that includes the 6MR200A4.
Right. The idea is to give you a solid grasp of what these speakers can do, without drowning you in tech jargon.
Yeah, cut through the noise, so to speak. We're looking at the product details, the data sheets.
And finding those little aha moments. What makes these tick? What are they good for? That's the mission.
Okay, let's get into it.
So first up, the PRV Audio 6MR600X NDY. That name alone sounds pretty serious. And their tagline, extreme mid-range performance. That's quite a claim. What backs that up?
Well, the big thing right off the bat is the neodymium magnet.
Okay, neodymium. I know that's like a high-energy rare earth thing.
Exactly. Think super strong magnet, but smaller and lighter than traditional ferrite ones.
And what does that do for the speaker?
It means, two main things. Higher sensitivity, so it gets louder with less power from your amp, and better power handling overall.
Okay.
So its sensitivity, 97.5 dB, that's pretty high. And the power, 600 watts RMS, it points to a speaker that can really, really crank out sound. Which
is great for, like, car audio competitions or motorcycle systems.
Definitely. Anywhere you need high output without a massive heavy driver. Audiophiles doing custom builds love this stuff too.
Makes sense. And they talk about a 2-inch inside-out voice coil on a high-temp former. How does that play into the extreme performance?
That's all about handling the power and heat. You push a speaker hard, the voice coil gets hot.
Right.
A bigger coil, like this 2-inch one, using materials that resist heat and that inside-out winding, it all helps dissipate heat much better.
So it doesn't, like, burn out during long, loud sessions?
Pretty much. It's built for durability, for sustained high power play. Think of it like a better cooling system for the speaker's engine.
Okay, interesting. Now, the frequency response, 90 hertz up to 13,000 hertz. 13,000. Yeah. That seems quite high for a mid-range, doesn't it?
It really does. That's pushing well into what you'd normally expect from a tweeter or a compression driver.
They even compare its upper mid-range output to a compression driver. What's the upshot of that for the listener?
It's potentially a huge deal. It means this single driver might cover a much wider range than usual.
So you might not need a separate tweeter.
In some setups, yeah. It could act almost like a coaxial speaker handling both mid-range and a good chunk of the highs. Simplifies the system design.
And how does it manage that? They mentioned a naturally damped paper cone.
Yeah, the cone material is key. That paper cone, probably treated in some way, allows it to reproduce those higher frequencies cleanly without breaking up or sounding harsh. It gives you that clarity in vocals and instruments.
Gotcha. They also mentioned some finer points. A 2-inch double-layered copper-clad aluminum wire voice coil, symmetrical inductance profile. Sounds technical.
It is, but the goal is basically cleaner sound and better efficiency. Okay. The double-layer coil helps handle power better. Copper-clad aluminum wire keeps the moving part light but still conductive. Symmetrical inductance. That's about making sure the magnetic force on the coil is consistent as it moves back and forth.
Less wobble, more control.
Sort of, yeah. It reduces distortion, keeps the sound accurate even when it's playing loud, and that 11mm winding length helps too, with control and heat dissipation again.
Okay, let's quickly run through the key specs for anyone just wanting the numbers.
Go for it.
It's a 6-inch speaker, nominal diameter, 8 ohms impedance. Power handling is 300 watts nominal, but 600 watts continuous program power.
Which is quite a bit.
Yeah, sensitivity. 97.5 dBB, frequency response, 90 to 13,000 hertz. And they recommend a high-pass crossover.
Right, at 160 hertz, 12 dB per octave slope, especially if you're pushing it hard.
And what does that crossover do, just quickly?
It basically filters out the really low bass frequencies. The speaker isn't designed for deep bass, so the crossover protects it and keeps it sound clean by only feeding it the frequencies it handles best, the mids and upper mids.
Got it. Protects the speaker. They also list a bunch of fairly small parameters. FAS, Xmax, Fs, QTs. We don't need to define every single one, but what's the general idea?
Those are like the speaker's DNA, its physical and electrical characteristics. They tell builders how the speaker will behave acoustically.
So like how it will sound in a specific box.
Exactly. S is its natural resonant frequency. Xmax is how far the cone can move cleanly. The Q values describe its damping. Essential stuff if you're designing a custom enclosure. For the average user, maybe Less critical day-to-day, but vital for optimal system design.
Right, the blueprint for builders. And physically, it's about 6.5 inches across, needs about 3 inches of mounting depth, weighs around 4.6 pounds.
Pretty manageable considering the power.
And we found a customer review snippet. Perfect voltage, powered perfectly. They scream if you want clarity.
Ha! Yeah, that sums it up. Needs proper power, gets very loud, and maintains clarity. Sounds like it lives up to the extreme claim when set up right.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Let's talk about the PRV Audio 6MR200A4. We're getting info on this one from a bundle pack. It comes with tweeters and an amp.
Right, the 6.5 PRO audio speakers and tweeters plus amplifier bundle. So the 6MR200A4 is positioned a bit differently.
Yeah, it seems aimed more broadly at PR audio on wheels and general car audio upgrades. Focus seems to be on smooth, natural sound.
And the specs reflect that. Power handling is lower 200 watts RMS program power. Still respectable, mind you.
But maybe doesn't need a monster amp to drive it.
Exactly. It's designed to provide a good jump in output, even with smaller, more common amplifiers. More accessible, maybe.
And a big difference, the mounting depth. It's only 2.24 inches. That's pretty shallow.
Yeah, that's a huge plus for installations. Modern car doors, custom panels. Space is often really tight. That shallow profile makes it much easier to fit.
Much more versatile in terms of where you can put it.
Definitely. And its frequency range is listed as 100 hertz to 6,000 hertz, so not as extended on the top end as the 600X.
Right, more of a traditional mid-range focus.
They suggest it for three-way systems, bass guitar cabs, even just as a solid door speaker upgrade in a car. Its strength seems to be its adaptability.
They mention different materials, too. A special composite cone, cloth surround, Kevlar-loaded paper cone. What's the thinking there?
It's all about balancing sound quality, durability, and efficiency for this application. The Kevlar in the paper cone adds stiffness, helps keep distortion low. The composite material likely helps achieve that smooth response they talk about.
And the cloth surround.
Provides good damping and reliable movement for the cone, aiming for accuracy and longevity without the extreme focus of the 600X. Lower moving mass is also mentioned, which usually means better transient response, quicker reaction to the music signal.
And it also has a vented pole piece. We mentioned heat before. Same benefit here.
Yep, same principle. It's a common feature on decent drivers. Lets heat escape from the voice coil area.
Prevents that power compression thing.
Right. Where the speaker output drops as it gets hot.
Yeah.
Better cooling means more consistent sound over longer listening periods. Keeps it reliable.
We found some user feedback for this one, too. Someone said, loud and clear, love them, replaced my other brand's 6x5s and amp with these, and definitely made a huge difference.
Sounds like a successful upgrade story. Notice the loud and clear again.
Yeah. And another, great product. They have very good sound to them. Can't complain, best product for best price.
That points to good value. Delivering noticeable improvements without perhaps the higher cost or installation demands of the more extreme models. It hits a sweet spot for many users.
So comparing the two side by side, the 6MR600X NDY is clearly the powerhouse. Neodymium magnet, huge power handling, that really wide frequency range.
Yeah, that's the one for maximum SPL, for potentially simpler two-way setups where you want that extended high end from the mid, pushing the limits.
Whereas the 6MR200A4 is like the versatile workhorse.
I think that's fair. Good performance, easier to drive, much easier to install with that shallow depth. Works well in various systems, often part of a bundle, making it a straightforward upgrade path.
So different tools for different jobs, really. One for extreme performance, one for flexible, solid upgrades.
Precisely. Depends entirely on what you need for your specific audio goals and your vehicle or project.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've seen PRV Audio has some serious mid-range options. The 6MR600X NDY uses advanced tech like neodymium magnets for really high output and that surprisingly wide frequency range.
Yeah, potentially blurring the lines between a mid and a high frequency driver in some ways.
And then the 6MR200A4 offers a more adaptable solution. Still delivers good sound, loud and clear according to users, but it's easier to fit and integrate, especially in cars.
A great example of how different design choices cater to different needs in the audio world.
Definitely. Which leads to, a final thought for you to ponder. We see these kinds of advancements in mid-range speakers, powerful magnets, clever cone materials, thermal management.
Yeah, lots of refinement happening.
So what other parts of the audio chain, amplifiers, source units, even wiring, do you think are seeing similar kinds of leaps? And how might all these individual improvements working together really reshape how we experience sound down the road?
That's a great question. It makes you think about the whole system, doesn't it? How all these innovations might add up to something greater than the sum of their parts, something to keep an ear out for.